have created a mnemonic that is P4 booms. Okay, P4 booms, which means that 100 questions will just come from 6 subjects. Okay, so here in short subject, if you ask me, which are the 2 subjects that you should focus on very much so that you will get a better rank. So what is the implication of this? Whenever you are solving PYQs, remember you shouldn't solve PYQs from 2018 to 2020. Okay, so you notice that first year subject which everyone says, so anatomy is very important, physiology is very important, all that is crap. Let me tell you straightforward, all that is crap. Because if you have just 4 months of time to prepare for your first phase of preparation, you don't know where exactly to put your effort so that you get maximum return in output. That is something known as yielding capacity of the subjects. Hello everyone, welcome to NEETPG 2026 series, and this is episode 2. Today we'll be discussing regarding PYQs. In first episode, I had detailedly told you about the ultimate roadmap, what you should follow for NEETPG 2026. Kindly watch this episode 2. So in today's video, we'll be discussing about PYQs, all about PYQs. So first of all, I'm going to tell you this is going to be a long video because I'm going to explain in detail regarding PYQs. We'll be covering these aspects. Let's directly move to the topics. So first question which many people ask me is, which PYQs to solve? So this is the exact list of PYQs from 2018 till 2025. Okay, so these 8 years of PYQs I have with me. Okay, so in this I have made based on recall videos from YouTube, whatever was available. Okay, so in this you'll find that whatever is in red are the number of questions that have decreased, and whatever is in green are the number of questions that are increased. So I have used conditional formatting for this. So here you'll notice one important thing, that is for NEETPG, like for example in anatomy, physiology and biochemistry, what you will notice? You will notice that anatomy, physiology and biochemistry were in towards the greener side, which means more number of questions were being asked from 2018 till 2020. But what has happened now, you see, number of questions has been decreasing consistently. Only this year in NEETPG 2025, anatomy had around 15 questions. That can be an outlier. Outlier means which goes against expectation. But if you see rest of the subject, they follow almost the same trend. See, physiology in last 5 years has never gone above 10. Physiology, which is a first year subject, everyone will tell you physiology is a very important topic, read it. But from last 6 years, it has not gone above 10. Okay, earlier it had gone up to 13. So physiology is now decreasing its importance in NEETPG preparation. Similarly, biochemistry, you see, initially it was coming up to 10 only, but since last 3 years you will see it is consistently going above 15, 13, 17. If it goes like this trend in next upcoming days, upcoming years, NEETPG biochemistry will be like almost equivalent to patho and micro. So biochemistry is no longer a smaller subject. See, all this analysis is not just based on my opinion. Okay, I'm giving you proof, I'm giving you statistics, I'm giving you last year's trends. Based on this is what I have, I'm guiding you. It's not like I'm randomly telling you anything. Similarly for patho, you see, initially questions were around 15 only. Okay, but now since last 3 papers, questions are like 19, 20 questions, which means patho also number of questions have increased immensely. Coming to microbiology questions are the same. There is no change in trend. Pharmac also number of questions are slightly decreasing, but it is always about 10. Similarly for ophthal and all, you see, even though at a point of time when next exam had come, everyone told that ophthal and ENT is going to gain importance, it is clinical subject, but still number of questions never crossed 10. Okay, so if you see this table all together, you will get an idea that biochemistry, pathology, pharmac, micro, and these 4 subjects, that is medicine, surgery, OBG and PSM, these are having highest number of questions. Rest all the short subjects always have less than 10 questions only, and out of this, if you ask me which one gives you consistently increasing result, that is forensic medicine only, which is getting above 8 questions yearly. Okay, but all this anesthesia, derma, psychiatry, all those have lesser number of questions every year. So what does this mean? See, what is the limiting factor in NEETPG preparation? It is not the content, it is always time. Time is the limiting factor. Remember this, you have 6 more months to go. If you expect that NEETPG is going to happen in June of 2026, you have around 6 months for your total preparation, and you need at least like 100 days for your first preparation, for your preparation phase. And in those 100 days, you need to complete 19 subjects. So you shouldn't give equal importance to all subjects. You have to give differential importance. That is known as prioritization. Prioritization matters more than anything else. I'll tell you in my following slides. Okay, so if you see what is the difference between old pattern of NEETPG, see what is this old pattern? Old pattern is till 2020, okay, sorry, till 2020 is the old pattern. So till this the trend of questions was something different, and after 2021 the trend of questions is slightly different. So if you see this graph, earlier anatomy, physiology, see this is the old NEET, okay, anatomy, physiology, patho, micro, these had more like a number of questions, okay. This is a graph based on last year's trends, okay, last 8 years trends. So now what has happened is these subjects, especially medicine, pediatric, surgery, OBG, PSM, ortho, anesthesia, clinical subjects are gaining importance. So what is the implication of this? Whenever you are solving PYQs, remember you shouldn't solve PYQs from 2018 to 2020. Okay, so these PYQs may not give you the current trend what is being followed, because how examiners prepare question paper is they are given a set of PYQs, okay, they are given a set of questions, like these are the format for to frame questions, and these examiners, they are usually some HODs or some associate professors of some great big institutes, okay, or they may be directors also. So they don't have any idea what is happening in coaching platform and all. So they are given a set of questions, and when they are given a set of questions and when they apply, what do they apply? They'll apply the current trends. Why is biochemistry trending so much? That is because so much research is going on in genetics, so much research is going on in various other aspects of biochemistry also, especially genetics part. That's why the number of questions from biochemistry is increasing. And if you see biochemistry topic wise distribution, there you will note that genetics is gaining importance since last 2 years. I'll publish these findings in my upcoming videos. So which PYQ should you solve? Remember this, PYQs of NEETPG from 2021 till 2025, these 5 years you have to solve. No, there is no exception to this. 2021 to 2025 you have to solve. Next, second, INI-CET last 2 years. Last 2 years, that is total 4 papers. These papers you have to solve for NEETPG. I am not telling for INI-CET. If it is INI-CET, then it is from 2020 November. Suppose you are writing INI-CET May 2026, then you have to solve from 2020 November, because this is when INI-CET started. Okay. And third, very important, because in my previous video which I released, my first video based on statistics, in that I had ignored FMG, but now I realized FMG is also prepared by NBMS, so that's why FMG last 2 years questions are a must. So when I tell you have to read PYQs, that means NEETPG last 5 years, INI-CET last 2 years, and FMG last 2 years question papers. Got my point? So always the trend should be like this. First we'll go through NEETPG, then INI-CET, then FMG. Got my point? Okay, so one question is clear, which PYQs to solve. Now next we'll go on to understand why PYQs are very important. You will see, if they are real YouTube mentors or if they are real guide for you for NEETPG, they will always stress on PYQs. Because when I was preparing for my NEET entrance, that time also it was stressed that PYQs are important, and now also they are. But coaching platforms won't stress on PYQs. That is because coaching platforms have so much content. If they want to market everything, they can't just make profit from PYQs. They have to make profit from every content. So that's why coaching platforms won't tell you to solve PYQs. But whoever your true seniors are there who have faced NEETPG, who have got a good rank, they'll always focus on PYQs. Now why PYQs? I'll tell you in the coming slides also. In NEETPG 2025, 110 questions were PYQs or PYTs, means they were related somehow to PYQs. So that accounts for almost 50%. So 50% is already PYQs. So your battle is against time, and when content is so much, if you go to any coaching platform, this will be the content, plus or minus. Okay. So this we are going to discuss today, why PYQs are so important. Okay. So this is a general trend. Okay. Okay, this is 2024 paper A and paper B. Okay, paper A is the first shift and paper B is the second shift. See, there may be minor changes in the number of questions. That is because some questions are integrated types. So some platform would have put it in like pharmacology, some platform would have put it in medicine. Okay, so there can be some minor changes, but overall the picture remains the same. Now you would also ask me, when you calculate everything, sometimes the questions number won't be up to 200. Okay, that is because some coaching platforms, because some of these recalls, especially the 2024 recall, I had taken from Cerebellum Academy, which they had posted immediately after exam was done. Okay, so there may be some minor variation, but overall trend remains the same. So what you notice in all of this is, see, you will notice some things are green. These are the platforms from, these are the subjects from which highest number of questions are asked. Okay, now when I give you something like this, it is very difficult to understand what is important and what is not important. So I'm going to take you to a new graph. Now you will know by now that which is important, because everyone would have told this, like from this subject this many questions come. See, what is the general trend which every faculty, which every mentor will tell you is that first year subjects are important, second year subjects are important, clinical subjects are important. That anyone can tell, I can also tell. So what is the difference between what I am telling you now and others are telling you now? See, biochem, patho, micro, pharmac, PSM, OBG, surgery, medicine, these 8 are the top scoring subjects, not because they are easy to study, that is because of their number of PYQs that are asked. But what is the problem in this? Problem is, medicine alone will take you the time to cover 7 minor subjects or maybe 3 or 4 intermediate subjects. Okay, so is it worth it? Because your battle is against time. So you'll note that even though this is a gross representation of how many questions are being asked from each like paper in the last 5 years, okay, you will get this trend. Okay, but this trend doesn't tell us how much a student should put effort and where he should put effort, because if you have just 4 months of time to prepare for your first phase of preparation, you don't know where exactly to put your effort so that you get maximum return in output. That is something known as yielding capacity of the subjects. So yielding capacity of subject is different from how many PYQs have been asked from that platform. So generally, let's follow a trend. Okay, let's see what has happened in last 5 years or last 7 to 8 years. Okay, so you notice that first year subject, which everyone stresses, anatomy is very important, physiology is very important, all that is crap. Let me tell you straightforward, all that is a crap, because if you see physiology from last 8 years, physiology number of questions have been decreasing and it is persistently below 10 only. So if you ask me which subject is one subject which has more content but you should focus less, that is physiology. Definitely it's physiology. Secondly, which is one subject which has content which is difficult to study but it is worth studying it, that is biochemistry. Now why biochemistry? That is because you see the number of questions that are coming in biochemistry. See, there can be some outliers. Outliers means 1 year examiner might decide, okay, I'll give less questions from biochemistry, or the computer algorithm may decide I'll select some less questions from biochemistry. So 1 year in NEETPG, I think question paper set B, less number of questions were asked, but you see the general trend. General trend is towards the rising side, which means biochemistry is one subject where even though it is difficult to study, but if you invest your time, definitely it is going to give you good returns in the future. So now this graph can't come till here in the next NEETPG 2026. Definitely it will be somewhere here. That means even if you study biochemistry, definitely there will be questions more than 10 questions that you will be able to answer if you give good importance to biochemistry. Similarly, you notice that anatomy, number of questions in anatomy since last few years was decreasing. Only this year in NEETPG 2025, around 15 questions were asked. So this trend was basically from NEETPG 2025 to from doc tutorials. On their website, they have released all the list of questions that were asked. So based on that, there were 15 questions. Maybe there were some overlaps or anything, or maybe we can tell that this is an outlier, which means 1 year, 1 or 2 subjects might come unexpected, but that shouldn't affect the way you are preparing for the rest 17 subjects. Similarly, you see patho. In the initial years, lesser number of questions were asked, around 15, average was 15, but right now it is closing up to 20. So pathology is one more subject where if you give good importance, if you give good amount of your time, you can score better. That's why this biochem, this patho, all these are called as rank building subjects. Okay, rank building, which means if you give good amount of time, they will give up will be always positive. Okay, so there won't be a plateau phase. The more time you invest in that, the better rank you will get. Those are called rank building. If you haven't watched my episode 1, go back and watch it. Second is micro. See, micro, everyone tells invest time in micro is useful, but I would tell micro gives only decent output. That is because every year on an average since last 5 years from 2021, on an average 12 to 13 questions are only asked, not very high, not like patho, and definitely not like pharmac. Pharmac also, you see, initially in few years they had asked above 15 questions. Even this year also it had come to about 14 to 15. So pharmac will still give you better returns compared to micro, because both micro and pharmac are like memorization topics only. Micro also you have to memorize everything, pharmac also you have to memorize everything, but pharmac has better output than micro. Now one reason why the number of questions in 2024 A and B sets are different, that is because it could be because recall would have put that in under medicine, because most of the questions from pharmac have a correlation with medicine. That's why they would have put there. So I strongly believe if you study pharmac, you can have better correlation with medicine also. Okay. Now, what about Ophthal and ENT? These were the hyped subject, overhyped subject, I can tell. Okay, these are the overhyped subject, because nowhere after 2022 these have never crossed 10. No, even in 2022 also it never crossed 10. So these are the subjects which are low yielding subjects. So even if you give how much ever attempt, there will be only 6 or 7 questions that will be asked every year. Okay. Now coming to this important topic, that is the 4 big subjects, that is medicine, surgery, OBG and PSM, what to focus and what not to focus. Definitely if you are a regular viewer of my videos, you will definitely tell one thing, that is medicine is one where no matter whatever effort you give, the output will always be less only. That is because the graph for medicine looks something like this. Initially give some effort, you will see some effort, okay. Then you give little bit more effort, around 50% of your effort, then you will note that it will come to something, okay. Like if this is a 100% output that you get, that is if 20 questions are asked, you are able to answer all 20, okay. But with 50% effort, you can reach up to like 70% of your target. That should be the target, not more than that. Now after this, if you give how much ever effort, it will only peak and you will never reach 100%. The only time you will reach 100% is when we finish your MBBS, MD medicine. Only that is one possibility. I think they also don't reach 20 out of 20. So that's why for medicine, it's not a very high yielding topic, it's a low yielding topic, but many people fail to understand this because 20 questions are being asked from medicine. That means even if you answer 14 questions or less than 14, like I would say ideal is 12 to 14. If you're able to answer 12 to 14 and dedicate rest of the time to other subject, that is more than enough. That is what is expected from you when time is a limiting factor from you. Got my point? But this is not the case for surgery and OBG. That is because you see OBG, that is marked in yellow, number of questions are ever increasing. Like there was a slight dip in 2023 and 2024, but again in 2025 around 20 questions are asked. Definitely from OBG 18 to 20 questions are definitely asked, and OB is not a topic like medicine which is never ending. It has a finite boundaries. Out of these 20 questions you can answer at least 16. It is not like you can answer all 20, but at least you can try for 16, and this 16 is a very good number because rest 4 you can guess, but this 16 you should be able to crack in OBG. Similarly for PSM, initially I was not in favor of PSM, but since last 2-3 years what I have noted is PSM is actually more rewarding. That is because in PSM what happens is you don't have to go through everything. PSM is totally a different ball game because in PSM PYQs plus biostats, okay, this itself will give else is required, because I also did the same. My PSM was at 33%. I brought it to 70% just with the help of PYQs and biostats. Nothing else is required. Epidemiology, biostats, health, these three topics will give you very good outcome. And above this also, if you want to go, you can just guess and you can get good score. Like out of 18, even if you score like 15 or 14, that is more than enough for PSM. So these 4 subjects are known as rank maintaining subject, which means you don't have to put more effort, highest effort for them. Their graph is something like that, okay. But when you come to surgery, what has happened is this year lesser number of questions were asked and it is in the downward trend. Now I don't know what is the reason behind this, but every time I have noted, whenever a high yielding subject goes in a downward trend, every year it will then come up, okay. So this year in NEETPG 2026, you can expect good number of questions from surgery. That is what I can guarantee you. This is because I have been seeing trends from last few years, okay. Now coming to short subjects, believe me, short subjects, none of them will go above 10 except forensic. That's why if you had watched my previous episode 1, there I have put forensic under rank building subject, because it is one subject where if you put more effort, you will get more correct responses. So forensic is one where you can invest more of your time because it will give you good returns also, and questions will also come from that. Second is the trend for radio, which is increasing, but I think it will decrease because radio is again an integrated branch. So you can answer from medicine or this one. So radio you don't have to give much importance. One more is anesthesia, which is consistently below. So even if you do PYQs for anesthesia and some important topics, it's enough. For dermat also same thing holds true. That's why dermat you should be very particular on what you read, okay. For dermat, that's why this pearls and these important tables become important for dermat, because dermat is more like a memorization based topic. And psychiatry also same thing, not much difference. This year I think some 7 questions were asked, so 5 to 7 questions is what we can expect. But one subject, there is one subject which will give you high returns in this short subject, that is ortho. Ortho has less syllabus but will give more written output. Okay, so here in short subject, if you ask me which are the 2 subjects that you should focus on very much so that you will get a better rank, that is, one is forensic and second is ortho. Got my point? See, I'm not telling this out of my experience or because someone has told me or because I feel like it is important. No, I'm giving you actual trends, actual facts, actual statistics. This is not me telling, this is the last year trends telling you. So this is just a summary what I was telling you. You can go through this, okay. Now next. So what happened now when you ask me like how many questions can you expect in this year NEETPG 2026? So this is the prediction type of thing, okay? So based on statistics, what you can do is you can predict an average, like every year from anatomy around 9 questions are being asked, 8 questions from physiology. So this is a general trend which you can follow. Now if you see, compare it with NEETPG 2025, the same thing has only happened, okay? See, there was only one defect, that was anatomy. I told you there will be 1 or 2 subjects which will like come out of the box, which no one can expect, okay? Every time it happens. So if you leave anatomy, almost all other subjects had performed similarly, like physiology 6 questions and average was 8. Similarly, micro 12 questions, average was 13. Pharmac average 14 questions have been asked, average was 14 only. So if you take this general trend, now almost everywhere similar number of questions have been asked. Questions can be asked more, like for example, in biochemistry number of questions are increasing. Similarly in path also number of questions are increasing, which I have already told you. But for short subjects, everywhere it is almost the same trend, nothing much has changed, okay? So if you want a general trend for how many questions are going to ask in NEETPG 2026, this is a general trend, which means your biochemistry, patho, micro, pharmac subjects, these are going to be your main ones, okay? Now, so I prepared a table on subjects which you need to concentrate more, and on based on this average. See, nothing is manipulated here. Whatever data I had shown you here, the same thing is copied here also, okay? So based on prediction for NEETPG 2026, you can see that if I take 6 subjects, if you want 6 subjects where maximum number of questions are being asked and which is easy to cover also. Biochemistry is one subject where you see here biochemistry. Where is biochemistry? Biochemistry is here 16, average is 16, so I have to can 16. Patho, you see, patho it is around 19. OBG, you see, it is around 20. Surgery, you see, it is around 16. Pharmac 14, okay? Pharmac is 14 and PSM is 15, okay? PSM, where is PSM? Okay, PSM is not there. Based on the average here, see, PSM is 15, okay? So if you add all of this, how much you are going to get? It is 100. That means, what does this mean? This is very, very, very important. That means that 100 questions will just come from 6 subjects. Got my point? 100 questions will come from only these 6 subjects. This is not me telling you. This is the statistics that is telling you. If you take averages of all subjects and if you combine, 6 subjects alone will give you 100 questions. And in this, remember, I have not added medicine. Why? Because medicine is a low yielding subject. Tell me one subject out of this 6 subjects which doesn't give you return in output. Biochemistry, the more you study, the better marks you get. Pathology, the more you study, better marks you get. OBG, surgery, portions are defined. Even if you get like 20, like out of 20 questions in OBG, even if you are able to answer 16, more than enough. Pharmacology, PSM, all these are the subjects which are high yielding and have very high weightage also. But is this enough? No. Now what you will tell me is, sir, to finish these 6 subjects only, it will take us 2 months. So what is the use of this? You have to give us more like percentage wise, like which can give you more output with relation to time, because this is not related to time. This is more related to content. How many PYQs are being asked? So for those guys, I have did something extra, okay? So this is the number of total questions that are being asked in the last 5 years, okay? 5 years. Because in 2024, we have one and set A and set B. That's why we have an extra set, okay? So now you will notice that physiology, okay, physiology, which is a big subject, has only 38 PYQs in last 5 years. Got my point? Only 38. As different to biochemistry, which has 74 PYQs. See, it is almost the double, So you will ask me, if this is the case, then should we give less importance to physiology? Yes, definitely yes. But there should be some mathematical gradient, no, based on which you decide. Similarly, notice one more example. Patho and micro almost have similar syllabus, but still patho number of questions is 20 times higher than what is asked for micro. Similarly, medicine has 118 PYQs, but OBG also has 118 PYQs. But you'll notice that medicine subject is almost twice that of OBG. So what you can do is, in this case, what you need to do is, there is something called as weightage percentage. Now what is weightage percentage? See, weightage percentage is nothing but yielding capacity, which means if you dedicate 1 hour of your study, how much return will you get for every subject? That is known as weightage percentage. That is nothing but yielding capacity, okay, yielding capacity of each subject. Now for example, I have taken number of hours. Now what are this number of hours? These are the number of hours of revision video. And which platform I used? I used Marrow, because majority of you will be using Marrow and maybe using Marrow revision videos. This is nothing to do with coaching platform. No one has paid me or anything. It is available in public domain. How many hours of videos are there for Marrow? So one thing it might strike you also. Like for example, you are saying that patho is such a big subject, but revision videos of Marrow is just 15 hours. So even if you watch at 1x also, it will not take you more than 1.5 days to finish pathology revision videos. Okay, so those who are complaining that revision videos content is too much or you can't watch all those videos, you are entirely wrong. I calculated everything myself and I got 15 hours of revision pathology videos which can be completed, which is not impossible. Okay, when time limiting factor is there, you have to watch revision videos. Now for example, anatomy has 8.8 hours of watch hours, physiology has 12 and biochemistry has 13. Now what I did is, this watching hours I divided by total number of MCQs, I divided by number of watch hours. That means it will give something, that is, it will give, if you watch 1 hour of revision video for any subject, how much PYQs can you solve. Okay, how much PYQs you can solve watching per hour of revision video. That is known as yielding capacity, that is the weightage, and that weightage came up to be something like this. It is just a ratio, it has nothing to do. But when this ratio is arranged in descending order, what I found was surgery had the maximum weightage. That means if you watch 1 hour of surgery video, you are able to solve 7 PYQs of surgery. Got my point? Now this depends on few minor factors, like how much extensively the faculty has taught, or how much big the subject is, or how much difficult it is for the subject to explain to students. It depends on various factors. But some striking differences I noted is, I don't know what is the reason for this. See, medicine, total 32 hours are dedicated for this 118 PYQs, and what is the weightage? Weightage is very less, 3.7. Got my point? On the same hand, if you notice pediatrics, 8.5 hours are dedicated, but the weightage becomes 5.9, which means if you are watching 1 hour of revision video of pediatrics, you will be able to solve 6 PYQs in that time. Got my point? Similarly, you'll notice that for radio and all, a number of hours that is dedicated 8.5, 7.5 for anesthesia. I don't know what is there in that, because you are going to get anyways only 4 or 5 questions. For that 4 or 5 questions, why should you dedicate 8 hours? Now, is dedicating 8 hours for radio more beneficial, or is dedicating 8 hours for pediatrics more beneficial, where 50 questions are asked, but in radio only in anesthesia only 22 questions are asked, which is more beneficial. Here also only 33 questions are asked, which is more beneficial. That is for you to decide when time is of limited value. So that's why I came up with this concept known as yielding capacity, where subjects with higher yielding capacity will give you more return in output as compared to subjects with lower capacity. So that means that surgery, pharmacology, OBG, patho, peds, and at all these 10 subjects, they have high yielding capacity, which means you can go ahead with this subject and you can cover more syllabus in lesser amount of time, and you will be able to answer more questions. Now, if you plot a pie chart of this, you will notice that all this surgery, pharmac, OBG, patho, peds, and at these 7 subjects, even if I remove an ad, let's say I removed an ad, still this will constitute almost 50%. Now, does it look something similar? Yes, it looks something similar. If you add PSM instead of this 5% for this ortho, this PSM will come here, and this list looks somewhat like what we discussed earlier, that is this 6 list. That is 50% of the content comes from this syllabus, and it makes sure that whatever time you are dedicating for this will definitely be used. You will get something output in return. Now, you notice the topics like, for example, medicine, which has only 3.8%. But how many questions were asked? It is the highest number of questions that is asked, but what is the weightage? It is so less. Got my point? So now, if you ask me which are the 10 subjects which are very high yielding, and these 10 subjects, if you study, definitely you will get high return in output in less amount of time. I have created a mnemonic, that is P4 booms. Okay, P4 booms. What is? Okay, it is triple OMS. P4 booms. Okay, these are the 4 subjects, that is pharmac, patho, peds, PSM, biochem, ortho, OBG, ophthalm, micro, and surgery. These are the 10 subjects which will give you high return. Now, you will notice that in this list there is no anatomy, there is no physiology, there is no ENT. Okay, so this is slightly different from what others will tell you, but I have used statistics to prove my point. I am not telling you without proof. Now, out of these P4 boom subjects also, which is very important 6 subjects, pharmac, patho, PSM, biochem, OBG, and surgery. So what does this mean? This means that whenever you are studying PYQs or whenever you are studying this subject, make sure that these 6 subjects, okay, these 6 subjects always give more importance. That means even if you are not able to finish these subjects on time and you want 1 or 2 days extra, Dedicate. It's okay. For these subjects, even if you dedicate a little bit more time, you'll notice that your GT scores will ultimately improve, because the final division of topics, how many questions will come, will always be this only. It will be this average only. It won't change much. Even if one subject increases, it will be compensated by other subjects. So overall, it doesn't change. Got my point? Every year, it will remain almost the same. Now, where are PYQs? PYQs is for beginners. Those who are getting less than 120, and after that also, those who have not studied PYQs have to study PYQs. Okay, PYQs and PYTs are must. Without that, you can't go to upper phases. This NEETPG pyramid I had discussed in my episode 1. If you have not watched, go back and watch it. Now, along with this, what will come? Revision videos or revision notes, whatever. Okay, so I told you already that revision videos won't take you more than 2 to 3 days. Even if it is medicine, if you watch for like 4 days per day, if you watch for 8 hours, you will finish it. It is not very difficult. Okay. Now, what is next point? If you are already a beginner and you want to go into next phase, that is, you want GT score correct between 120 to 150, you want to upgrade yourself. Next thing is not your main notes or anything. You have to go stepwise. Okay, this is known as bottom up approach. Okay. The other approach which coaching platforms use is top down approach. But when time is limited, and for most average students, bottom up approach is always useful. So start with 120, start till you get 120 correct, that is PYQs, PYTs and all. Then you have to go for 120 to 150, that is you have to start solving PYTs and important Qbank modules. Now everyone will ask me, sir, which are the important PYQs, which are the important which are the important tables or pearls, and which are the important Qbank modules? Like there are so many Qbank modules, like OBJ itself has 30-40 Qbank modules. Now you don't have time to solve all those. It is for final year students. Now which are the important ones? Those I have made a PDF. Okay, important Qbank modules list. Okay, which are the important Qbank? Like for example, in psychiatry, there are only 5 important Qbank modules which I have discussed in this list. Okay, also there are only few pearls. Okay, a pearls list may be big. Like for example, let's say you can't study medicine notes because it is very extensive. Now you want to know which pearls in medicine are important. Okay, the names of the pearls, the list of the pearls. Okay, you can search in pearls under marrow, or you can search under treasures in prep ladder. So you can access only those and bookmark them. So that list is given in this PDF. So important thing is, few people thought that when I had released this like in the previous episode, they thought that this was the list of this was tables itself. So this doesn't contain tables itself, this contains names, so it will be applicable for any coaching platform you use. Okay, so sometimes I get this thank you messages, and this I got just now, like 2 hours back when I was preparing my script for this video. That time I got this. Okay, so I thought I'll include like how people are actually getting benefit. I don't market much. Okay, I just want it from the word of mouth. Okay, but I felt so happy that I wanted to include this in my this video. Okay, so what is the timeline? This I discussed in episode 1. So mainly our preparation phase is for 100 days, and here we have a buffer zone. Okay, where we'll be completing subject which has not been completed or unattempted. So we are going to start tomorrow, that is on November 20. Okay, from tomorrow. Now this is the ideal timetable which I had given, which I had already discussed in episode 1. So one important announcement is, from November 20, that is from tomorrow, we are going to start this RMD live mentorship program, where I'll be guiding you daily what topics you should study, daily basis. Okay, it will be between 10 p.m. to 15 p.m. Okay, so for these 15 minutes, what I'll be doing is I'll be giving you topics, and next day you'll have to come back and report me in YouTube live session that you have completed these many topics. And once every Tuesday we'll be having a mega session. We'll be discussing various other aspects also. Go through this. It's all the details are given in the Telegram group. Now, important question which everyone asks me: where to study PYQs from? Should I study from coaching at platforms, or should I buy some other app only for PYQs, or should I study it from any other books? See, 3 things are very, very, very important when you study PYQs. One is bookmarking. You should bookmark. Without bookmarking, if there is any app without bookmark of PYQs, because when you want to revise, you just need to open that. No, you don't have to go separately. So without any bookmark, if any app is there, don't study PYQs from that. Next is, PYQ should have very good explanation. And I would say this very good explanation, that is because based on this explanation only, you will be able to solve PYTs. So it should also tell you what other questions can be asked from that particular question, and also which other topics why other options are wrong. That also should be there. Limited amount of information in each explanation of PYQs is not at all a recommendation to study from that app or that platform. Third is, it should contain images, because many PYQs, many questions in NEETPG are based on images. So without images, if there is any app, just ignore that app. If you ask me which is the best resource, till now there is no doubt in that. See, I am not working for any coaching platform, and I am not biased in any sense also. So the best platform is always Marrow. Marrow PYQ module, which has currently I think 300, but it has questions from 2018. So I had told in the beginning of the video that you don't have to go through all those questions. Whichever I have recommended in the beginning part of the video, only watch those, only read those. Okay. So Marrow PYQ modules are the best because it has bookmarking, very good bookmarking thing. It has pearls also. It has very good explanation also and images, because for PYQs you need good explanation. Okay. Now, when and how to use this PYQs, very frequently people will ask. So let's say you are studying pharmacology. Okay. So how to study PYQs? So first, before you start pharmacology, first 2 hours you have to go superficial. You have to just glance at what is being asked. Okay, nothing else. You have to glance superficially. Okay, superficially glance all PYQs, whatever I have told. Okay, that is 5 years NEETPG, 2 years INI-CET and 2 years FMG. In 2 hours you have to glance. You shouldn't study, so that you get to know what is important and what is not important, what type of questions have been asked and what is a trend, general trend. Then you will be going through your content. Okay, whatever that is content. Okay, I'll tell it as content. It can be revision videos, revision notes, or important topics from main notes or Qbank, whatever. Okay, so this content is what I'll be discussing in YouTube live sessions. So this is basically what we'll be discussing daily. Okay, now after content, what you have to do, once you have finished your content, then you have to come back to PYQs, and now you have to solve it in depth, bookmark or add to your notes, whatever. So this should be your general trend. Okay, so now very frequently question is asked, are custom modules needed? Should I solve custom modules daily 100 questions? My answer is no, not now. That is because custom modules are to be solved during revision phase, not for during preparation phase. I am against solving custom modules now. Next, should I solve random 100 MCQs per day? This is the common question that I get. Randomly, I don't know which who or which platform or which coaching gurus promote this random 100 solving. So just use logical sense, no? Like, what is the use of solving 100 MCQs? See, if this is the MCQ bundle, there are some 18,000 MCQs in this. Daily solving 100 MCQs, is it worth it? Because whatever MCQs that are useful is just 20%. Rest 80% is just to make you help solve other questions. 20% are around PYQ, that is 20% is around, if you take last 5 years question papers, that is around 5,000 to 6,000. Only these many are important PYQs. Now, why do you want to solve 18,000 random things which may or may not be asked and whose probability of asking is also less? Why do you want to burden yourself when so much content is there and you have limited time? So I don't recommend this. Whatever PYQs you are solving and important Qbank modules, you remember, right? This thing. That's why I had created this important Qbank modules list, because you don't have to solve everything. You have to solve limited things only, because it is more of content and time rather than everything else. Okay. So don't solve 100 MCQs randomly. Now you can reach out to me via various platforms. Okay, I am available on all this. You can follow me. All updates will be given under Telegram, WhatsApp channel, okay, and Instagram. Okay, Instagram is a little bit less only, but Telegram and WhatsApp will find regular updates. One-to-one consultation regarding NEETPG 2026. Many will be like, sir, I have a complicated thing. Like, I studied BTR first, and then I went through Marrow notes, and then that was not enough. I didn't get a good rank. Now I came back to some offline coaching institute. So you will have queries in your preparation and all. So for those people, you can have one-to-one consultation. But I am going to start this after some days, not immediately. So for these updates, you follow me on social media. On Telegram group, I will be updating. Okay. Now this episode 1 and episode 2. See, today's episode also took almost 40 minutes. And sorry for that, because there are so many things to discuss. Okay. Now I haven't even touched each subject topic wise. Like, after this, the next step is like to go subject wise. In pharmacology, which systems are previously have many PYQs? Which topic has? What is the general topic inside pharmacology? What is the general trend inside biochemistry? What is the general trend in microbiology? So all these will take a lot of time. So I just discussed today's general part of PYQs. Okay. So in next episode, we'll be discussing one more important thing, that is how to attempt GT, how to review GT, and how to study. These 3 episodes I want to do it as fast as possible, because this will affect your preparation, and later on we'll have subject wise division of each PYQ discussion in detail. Okay, so that I can tell you what exactly you have to study and what you shouldn't study. So just trust the process, go ahead, and your journey will become comfortable. We'll meet again for episode 3 in next 1 or 2 days. Till then, all the best.